Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and in this video I've got 3 replays for you in the tier 10 German tech tree tank destroyer, the Grille 15. So as always, before I start the replays, we'll have a look at the equipment and the perks that I'm running on this tank. So I've got Camo Net, Gun Rammer and Optics on this equipment setup, and then on the perks I'm running Born Leader, Rapid Reload, 6th Sense, Snapshot, Silent Driving, Camouflage Expertise, Green Farm, Situational Awareness and Steady Aim. So yeah, the Grille 15. I haven't featured this tank on the channel before, not that I'm aware of, not that I can think. In fact, I think the last time it featured was on a Rank the Tank episode where I looked at tank destroyers, and I think at that point that was just right before the buff that it had, and I think I ranked it third, which interestingly enough, you know, looking back at what it was ranked against, you could probably say it's probably top now. And the reason being is because back then, when I sort of showcased it in the Rank the Tank, it had a turret lock. So basically it had a yaw limit of, I can't remember now, but I think it was like 180 degrees or something like that. So basically what that meant is you couldn't fully traverse the turret. There was a lock on the turret, and it restricted basically how far you could turn. I mean, where the turret is facing now, the gun was facing, that was pretty much how it was a long time ago. But since that buff, it has basically transformed this tank, and in layman's terms, you could probably say if you were looking for a tech tree Turan, this is probably as close as you're going to get to having something that's similar to the Turan in the tech tree. It's just, yeah, it's just absolutely transformed. It also had a bit of a camo buff, if I remember rightly. So yeah, camo buff and a fully traversable turret means this tank is well and truly back in the favourites of tanks that people play, or certainly one of the tech trees that people play anyway. So the good points on it, I guess we should probably look at and read out, and you can sort of understand why it's, you know, classed as a you know, firm favourite now by the player bases. You've got an alpha on that big gun of 750. You've got camouflage at 397 on the move and 350 steel, which on paper doesn't actually seem that great. And in all fairness, if we are comparing it to Turan, it's nowhere near as good as the Turan or strong like the Turan. Camo and Turan will beat this hands down. So yeah, don't go getting that idea that it's the same camo as the Turan, because it really isn't. But you know, that's why we run sort of the concealment setup, you know, the camo net and sort of all the camo perks, because you know, you can get this down as much as possible. It makes it, you know, it makes it a good stealthy TD. The mobility on it is really good. So you got 60 km top forward speed with 15 reverse. The 15 is not great, so just obviously bear that in mind. Be careful. But on the back of that, I would say, look, if you're going to set up shooting someone, have your tank facing sideways or shoot over the rear like you would the Baby Waffle at tier 9. It's a similar playstyle basically. Reason being is if you do get spotted, you can just pull away quickly. You haven't got to try and turn, you know, face the way that you want to escape, basically, is what I'm saying. And that's your exit strategy. You know, shoot over the back, get spotted, run away. Simple as that. So you got 334 penetration and heat rounds, which is quite good. Obviously you don't get the penetration drop off over distance. And interestingly enough, on the standard rounds, you've got 279 millimeters of penetration in standard rounds, and it only drops off to 270 over 500 meters. So the drop off on distance is very marginal, which is really good. You have actually got 1200 meters per second on your standard rounds for shell velocity. It's just under 1000 on the heat rounds, so it's a bit slower, but understandable because heat rounds usually are. You've got a 1.5 second aim time, which is really good, 15.8 second reload, which for 750 alpha is pretty good, considering you can, and that's just base as well. With your rapid reload and your gun rammer, you can really get that reload time down. So it's quite strong in that sense, I think. You got 0.27 accuracy, 1.76 accuracy on turret rotation. You got 390 meter view range. So those are all the good points. The bad points on it, which there really aren't that many, is you have got poor traverse. You've got absolutely no armor whatsoever. So anything with HE or sort of big alpha firing at you is gonna hurt. So bear that in mind. And one thing I will point out is the gun. The gun is for a tank that's got one of the most, or sort of really accurate or good stats of accuracy on paper. The gun is actually quite troll. It can troll every now and then, so bear that in mind. Shots, you can't just sort of you have got to give it a little bit of patience, because it's just one of those tanks where the stats lie. It's the accuracy can deceive you, can troll you, but other than that, it is an absolutely fantastic tank, and it really is, or has been, one of my favourite TDs to play. Particularly since it got buffed. I mean, even before the buffs, I did quite enjoy it, but now it's that turret was just a complete transformation. I think that really made this tank into its popularity today. I mean, pretty much most games you will see someone running a Grille. And yeah, it really is a good tank, personally, in my opinion. I do think it has a lot going for it. Did it need the buffs? Yes and no. I mean, it works a lot better with the traversable turret, but you could argue that it's transformed it that much. Now it's in the meta, and obviously with a lot of the game at the moment, sort of with a lot of strong TDs as it is in the game. Is it something else that you're just adding into the mix, bringing more TDs into the matchmaking in that side of the sense? No, it's not really warranty. It's not something that's great for the game, but the tank itself, it has benefited massively. So anyway, we are on Serene Coast for our first replay, and we've had pretty decent games, to be honest. We've picked up 5k damage, just picked up our second kill on artillery there. We're getting targeted from the back, but we've got full hit points, so we've got plenty to spare, just so long as we don't get absolutely whacked by sort of a Type 5 or Avery or anything running sort of high caliber HE guns. We should be alright. There's only a medium tank and a tank destroyer left, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be at the back here. I was spotted and targeted literally a second ago, so there's definitely something at the back here. We know that much, but it's just about, can we get them lit up? Can we pick up maybe a little bit of assisted? And can we pick up another shot of damage? That would be quite nice. And we see the TD there, and that is a friendly Grille. Well, not friendly. It's another Griller. So there's another Griller 15, and we managed to get a shot into that tank. Now we're just going to try and line up a shot on this medium tank. Unfortunately, we just hit the track, which is really frustrating. But we've just managed to dodge 2 of his shells, which is good. And we just picked up a bit of track assist there. So we should count our lucky stars for that. And we're going to try and see if we can line up another shot. That was really poorly aimed. That was absolutely awful. Should have done better with that shot. And we're just, we're not too fussed about taking these shots, just because we've got full hit points to trade. It's the last tank left, so I just want to put as many shots in as possible and not worry too much about taking any damage in return. But we do finish that game, so let's see how we get on. So we do come top of the board there with 6.5k damage, with 2 kills, and I think we picked up a little bit of track assist in the end, if I remember rightly. Yeah, about 1300, so we picked up a decent size amount of track assist. and just picking up the first class and the high caliber medals. So let's get into replay number 2. Okay, so moving into replay number 2 then, and we're on Pilsen, which is not the most ideal map for a Grille 15, but I can think of worse maps, so it's not the end of the world. We'll try and make this work, and we're on, it's actually Team Destruction here, so I'm going to move my way over to this side and try and see if I can get any shots on anything that might get spotted up. We don't have any light tanks, so I've just got to kind of rely on maybe perhaps some heavy tanks being able to spot some tanks up for us. Well, unfortunately, we get lit up by this Technodrome here, and I'm trying to move out, but unfortunately some of my team are in the way. Technodrome is obviously a good tank destroyer. Almost plays like a light tank. Trying to squeeze through here. I've got platooned up with Mass, who's in the FE 4005 here. So between us, hopefully we can try and have a good game and get as much damage in as possible and see what we can do. But moving across here, I want to get away from that Technodrome, so I just want to get unspotted. I'd also like to see if I can get some shots in. Now, I might actually have a shot on the Technodrome here, and I do manage to get a shot in for 745, which is good. Again, I'd love to take out his Technodrome because I know he's going to be an absolute nightmare. Luckily, he runs into trouble and gets taken out by our friendly T-57 Heavy there. Now I'm just looking to see if I can get any shots in. I'd take a blind fire there and actually hit someone's track. But we know there's something at the back there, so that's something to be cautious of. Unfortunately, Mass gets taken out by their STI. So yeah, that's not great. So we're going to have to try and carry this game without him, unfortunately. But yeah, it's one of those things, I guess. When you play sort of like the armored tank destroyers, like the Grille 15 and the FE 4005, you carry that risk of, when you do get a shot, it's going to hurt. And it's quite. Both tanks are quite tall as well, so it's one thing sort of point out the Grille, similar to the FE. Not as big as the FE, but that tall turret, it's going to stick out like a sore thumb. So people are going to have something sort of quite prominent to shoot at. And we do get a shot into the STI there. Sort of bit of a revenge for killing our friend there. And yeah, we're just going to sort of rinse and repeat, I think, here. Just keep sort of poking out to this position. Maybe try and see if we can get any more shots in, but we're not lighting anything up at the moment. So I've just activated the food there, going to push forwards, try and see if we can spot some tanks up that we might be able to get some shots into. So again, with that nice traverse, that nice turret traverse there, I'm able to just poke the tank to the side of the building where I want to go and get behind, and I can do that, just get the shot in, and as soon as that tank's turned, I'm already in cover. So again, just going to sort of try and move back and see if we can sort of make that work again. Going to squeeze another shot on the STI there, which we do. And again, just rinse and repeat, basically. And like I say, the beauty of that traversable turret is you can now do that, whereas before it would probably have to be a case of go forwards, spot, pull back, and just generally sort of mess around. Get a shot into the STI again, but we just hit his track. We're getting spotted and targeted by artillery, so I'm gonna move forwards here. I thought I was gonna sort of double back on myself, but I think I've just decided, I'm gonna change the course here, just change the angle up, get a shot into that concept 1B, but again, just hits the track. Nature of the beast with the gun, it's like I said, it can be a bit deceiving, it's a bit trolly. Somehow we try and take a shot at that T-57 Heavy, but again, the shot just goes into no man's land. We do get the kill shot on the concept 1B there, and it's like I said, sometimes you do have to give this gun a little bit of patience, kind of treat it like it is a sort of a bit of a trolley tank destroyer. I guess sort of similar to, you know, Soviet tanks that you play in the game. You know, Soviets can be very hit and miss, similar to Americans as well. You know, you just got to treat it like that, and kind of, I guess, take the stats on paper for the accuracy as a little bit with a pinch of salt, because you know, it's not as good as what it says it is. We're going to line up a shot on that, I think it was actually a T58 heavy, yeah, T58 heavy, which we do get a shot into, putting him down to a one shot. We're up to 4k damage, still got all our hit points, with a tiny bit of assistance as well. And now I'm going to move over to the other side, move over to this point where I was getting some good lucky shots before. And I'm going to try and see if I can make that work. Now, there's a Grille 15 behind that building. It's not going to affect us too much. We've spotted the E4 there, but the E4 is well behind cover, so it's going to be a struggle to shoot him unless he pokes out. Nothing really seems to be presenting itself over that way, so I think I'm going to move over to the right. And this is just all about a little bit of game of patience now, and that's kind of what happens with Pilsen. Is when you're on sort of this spawn on the ridge lines, it is just going backwards and forwards, trying to wait, be patient, and let the opportunities come to you. That was a real chancy shot to the Ag Tiger there. That was never going to pen in a million years, but I had to take the shot just to try and see if I could chance my arm. I've gone for the heat rounds just in case that Ag Tiger pokes up again. If he does, I'll aim the shot better, and I'll try and punch it through the cheek of his superstructure. Well, the plan is now to move over to the left, and I think just try and, again, it's just, the whole game pretty much is just a rinse and repeat. I've pretty much sort of been saying that all sort of replay now, but that's the only way I can describe it. It's just doing the same thing, trying to just get shots on opportunities wherever I can. It's a real close even game, so I don't want to do anything stupid. I don't want to sort of change the plan of what I'm doing now, because it's working. And I just know if I just sort of stay patient that the opportunities will come. It's kind of thing with Pilsen is it just really is a game of patience, especially on this spawn, because it's more, I mean, both sides, you know, the side opposite have got to try and attack, and the side here have just got to do best to defend. And yeah, I just think sort of patience just wins this game personally. Doesn't make for great viewing, obviously, because it can be a bit stale, but so try and see if we get a shot into the E4 there, and that's where having a heat round just doesn't help at all. We do manage to avoid artillery though, so that's good. And I'm just going to move to the right. It almost looks like we've just again moved away, but try and get a shot through the side of the E4 there. Just giving us his whole front side. We could have penetrated that easily if we just sort of hit a little bit further into the tank, but each shot was just hitting the track wheel, tracking them in place. But now I'm going to move over to the right hand side, just again try and see if there's any opportunities, sort of help our team where we can. You know, most of the team, we try and get a shot into that waffle that's just sort of crossing quite quick there. But we don't manage to do any damage. Just missed it. But then we see this Conqueror, so we're going to line up a shot. We do get a nice shot into the side of the Conqueror. So again, persistence pays off. You know, sort of being in the right place, right time. Do manage to get a shot into that Conqueror, and hopefully we put them down to a one shot there. The numbers are 6-8, so you know the red team are winning by 2. But we are up in health points, so we know a lot of these are one shots or two shots. They don't have much health left, so I guess in some ways that gives us a little bit of sort of confidence to try and do what we can. See the Grille there, who is a one shot to us, and we end up taking him out for our second kill there. We're up to 5.4k damage, bringing the scores level to 6-all now. And again, with that healthy hit point advantage, we are slowly taking this game by the scruff of the neck. line up a shot on that Object 277 that was running away, and we do manage to get our third kill of the game, bringing the scores slightly in our favour now, as well as the hit points. We are up on tanks, but kind of want to get a little bit more out of this game. I've got full hit points, so I've got shots to trade, and I think I was going to try and see if we could swing around to the right there, and we do get a nice shot into the E4 there, setting him on fire. Must have been loading a fire extinguisher because managed to take, put out the fire. But he's now a definite one shot to us, and I was trying to see if perhaps he was going to give us his side again, but I think after that shot and that fire, that's made him play a lot more passive now and a lot more cautious. The right thing to do, really, but that kind of sucks for me because that would be nice to take out that E4. If that E4 was dead, I'd be able to, I would feel a lot more bold pushing that side. Jagdtiger I sort of see out there, but unfortunately it's just pulled back. I'm going to sit here for a little while and just hope that he maybe pulls forward. It's also got the heavy tank in the inside the factory in the corner there, who does actually get taken out. So T58 is out. There's 4 tanks left. We know where the E4 is. We know where the Jagdtiger is. All we just need to find is the enemy heavy tank and the artillery. So now I'm going to move forwards, swing round. Be nice to see if we can possibly spot that E4 again. Doesn't look like it's there though, so we're going to move over and just try and see what opportunities can we get. And I'm also thinking maybe I should just go spot. Then we see the E4 there, and I was trying to line up a shot, but that's a very chancy shot. That would have been sort of the golden goose shot if I'd hit that, but yeah, he was angled up, trying to go through the side, and it just didn't work. But yeah, you miss the shots that you don't take, and yeah, now gonna move over to sort of the other side. I'd be nice. I just want to take out this E4, to be honest. Shame our artillery is dead, because perhaps artillery. Well, in fact, I know artillery would have been putting shots into this E4 by now, for definite, because he's the only one spotted. But we know the Jagdtigers are one shot, the heavy tanks are one shot, and at this point, I'm thinking, right, well, the E4 is over there, so if I get over here, there's no way the E4 is going to be able to shoot me because it's got one of the buildings in the way. So I'm thinking, I'm just going to, you know what, I'm just going to go over here, take the opportunity, squeeze a shot into the side of the Jagdtiger, take him out for our 4th kill there. And I might be able to get in and get rid of the heavy tank, but it looks like he's got taken out by our friendly tank destroyer. The E4 has actually managed to come over and does manage to get a shot into us, so fair play. I was actually thinking that E4 would be able to get over to that position quite quickly. So, but you know, he's made that work. It's got a shot into us. But that's fine because we have full hit points anyway. So again, we're at the stage where we can trade, and I'm not going to be too fussed about that. I'm just going to wait for the AAT-60 to move in and take him out, which it does. We're up to 7k damage with 4 kills. And it'd be lovely to get a shot into artillery, but unfortunately, our friendly Grille 15 had other ideas and managed to take him out. So let's see how we got on then. And we don't actually come top of the board. We come second. The AAT had a good game and ends up coming top. So fair play to him. We do pick up 4k damage, 7 kills, a tiny bit of assist, picking up the first class medal, and yeah, having a fairly decent game on Pilsen. Apologies, it probably was a little bit of a boring replay because it was just sort of the same thing over and over again, moving backwards, you know, sideways and sideways again. So yeah, apologies if it didn't really make great viewing, but I thought it was a good video to put in there to show how we sort of got on with Pilsen. So we're on the final replay then, and we are on Mountain Pass, which yeah, not a great map for Grille 15, but you know, there are points where obviously we can make the tank work, but with Mountain Pass there's obviously a slim window of opportunity with tanks like this, light tanks and like the armor tanks, that window of opportunity is here where you can see tanks crossing. We do get a nice shot into that T-32 Proto there, setting him on fire. That was a nice shot, and that's boosted our damage right up to over 1100. So that's a very good start. But that window of opportunity then kind of goes, and the only option really I've got here is to move up to this area and kind of hope either tanks push that medium tank that's in front of us, where if they sort of overextend, we can get some shots in, like that waffle. And we do get a shot into there, and also CSAMX, which we might be able to put a shot into. But it looks like he's just squeezing behind that rock, and he just turns the tank at the wrong time there, which basically just absorbs the shot into his track. Gonna try and see if we can maybe get a shot into the turret there, but then he goes blind. And I'm gonna focus on the corner here. Gonna try and help out our friendly tanks. Gonna try and get some shots into these red tanks that are pushing this corner here. Now, again, not the ideal scenario, because the Grille 15 is not a close combat sort of vehicle, but to try and help the team out, I've sort of opted. I was going to opt to take a shot from that T-32 Proto, but it never happened, so I'm thankful for that. Now I've got to worry about his tank, because obviously the tank has a high caliber HE gun, but he fumbles his move and rolls, and we get a shot into him, put him down to one shot, and the machine finishes him off. So we're quite thankful that we didn't have to take a shot off that guy. Might be able to squeeze a shot in the Leopard 1 there. Again, don't mind trading too many shots here if it helps the team on this corner, because this is sort of this is a key part of the battleground, where this corner, if it gets taken, then the enemy team sort of can push into our base and can just basically take a lot more map control. Also, if they take this corner, they've got this ridge where I was sort of shooting across to their spawn. They can also obviously then get shots into that TD and that medium that's in the middle ground. So this is quite an important part of the map to either defend or attack. So red team are trying to attack it, but we're just doing our best to defend it, and we're not doing too bad. The red team here actually they're a little bit hesitant. They're playing quite passive. They're not really sort of pushing it as aggressive, not really as pushing as aggressive as what they should be. Now, we've lost 3 tanks in quick succession now, and we're 2 tanks down, and I'm starting to think, well, maybe this game's not going to go the way that I think it should do. Now, those tanks aren't giving us anything. We've got 3 tanks on the corner. It's a 3v3, so the corner is kind of neutralised in terms of numbers. So I've opted to sort of go over the side here, because I want to I want to get the gun in the game. I don't want to be sitting there waiting for tanks to poke and not poke. And I've got the opportunity here for this to get shots into this full health Ho-Ri, who's given us his side. So I'm not going to waste that opportunity at all. We see this AMX crossing over. I was hoping that we could get a shot into the side of that tank, but he's not going to give us a shot. So we're just going to pay attention to the Ho-Ri, who sat there side on to us. Going to take him out and level up the scores. Now I can turn around and focus my attention on this corner here, because things are starting to develop. Tanks are starting to get a bit more involved. We've got the side of the 113 there, and we're going to get a shot in. So you see, I've done the right thing by sort of switching my attention to the other side, because it meant I got some shots in, managed to get a kill, and then I could come back and finish off some of these tanks. Do take a big round from the Conway, but again, I'm not overly fussed. It's fine, because I have full hit points. So I guess I was sort of at the point where I could sort of start trading out. It was a little bit unnecessary, a bit sloppy of me to sort of give him my side, but we do take him out in the end anyway. We're going to take a shot from the Leopard, but again, it's fine. It's 7v4. The numbers are sort of pretty much in our favour, and look at the hit points advantage. We've got 20% against their 3%. So their tanks are pretty much 1 shots or 2 shots at best. And that Leopard's running away. It'd be nice to get a shot in here. Now there's trolling us with the gun. Fair enough, we probably should have aimed that a little bit better. We did snap that a bit too much, and that's a bit silly really, because we could have potentially got our kill there, not have had to have chased him, which is what we're going to do here. We're going to chase the leopard down, so I'd like to get rid of him and pick up that kill. There's only 2 tanks left. There's a heavy tank that's up on the bridge there, and there's this leopard that has come down the middle, so can't get to the heavy tank at all. Not sort of quickly over in this part. Anyway, I'd have to go a long way around, so just going to opt to go for the leopard. We snap a shot in there, and we finally pick up the win for the game. So let's see how we get on before we wrap this video up. You can see we come top of the board there with 6 kills, 7k damage, no assist at all. It was all pure damage there. Still only picking up the first class and the high caliber medal. Yeah, we killed 6 tanks and we got 7k damage, and yeah, that's only a first. That's how mental this tank is, and that's how, you know, a lot of people play this tank. So, you know, the ace requirements on this tank are going to be higher than a lot of other tanks. You're probably looking about 8-9k maybe, even with sort of 5 or 6k. I think a little bit more damage on that probably would have been the ace, or if we got 6 tier 10 kills, that probably would have been enough. So yeah, but it is what it is. We had a good game all the same. I hope you enjoyed the video anyway, guys. If you did, please like and subscribe, because it does always help the channel. And as always, I will catch you next time.